United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, would you please give us our information?
Gracious and loving God, we thank you for this opportunity to meet together as a community. We ask your blessing upon this town, this council, all who are gathered here this evening. We thank you for this day, Lord, that you've given us. This is the day you've made, and we want to rejoice and be glad in it. We thank you for a new year, new beginning, new fresh start. Lord, help us as we look forward to 2025 to see your hand at work in our hearts and lives, and to acknowledge your wisdom and guidance in all that we say and do. Pray your blessing upon the proceedings of this meeting in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, I'm sure this council had the opportunity to review the meeting minutes from our last meeting on December 19th. Unless there's any additions or corrections, I look for a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve December 19th, 2024 meeting minutes.
In a second.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right.
Update on ARPA funds, they were all encumbered or spent by the deadline of December 31st, so we're all set on that. 113 South Main, there were a lot of viewings, lots of interest, and potentially a couple offers coming in. So those will be presented for discussion. The lead line inventory, I met with Brandon and I met with BBF. And we are required to investigate all of the unknowns, which is approximately 1,000 test kits, and that has to be done by the end of 2027. Brandon and I are gonna talk and see if he thinks that Public Works will be able to do at least a portion of it. They are they have an approximate cost to do all that if we outsource it at $1,000 per day, and that's only 8 to 12 properties per day. Probably a good chunk of change. After 2027, then they require a 10-year replacement plan. There will be funding available. However, I learned that is through loans, not through grants. So that's something that we have to take into consideration. There is nothing out there right now for residents, but we are keeping an eye on it and trying to determine which process will work best to make the less of a burden on them. DBF is also working on calculating what our available capacity is. We have other interest in building homes, and then Mr. Baldwin would like to know what capacity we have available to determine the commercial use that he will have in there, whether or not he could have a salon versus an accounting firm or something like that. So that will help. I've had a lot of conversations with people wanting to move forward with the wastewater treatment plant expansion. They're unhappy that I continue to tell them that we are not going to do that if the town is that they think that the town is going to be liable for any financing for that, and they're not wanting to listen to that. So I suggested that they come in here and speak to council and residents, because
They want us to encumber the loans.
Yes.
And then we're not doing that again.
Yeah, so, yeah. I have told them that and said that they can come in here and address everybody here and let's see how well it goes over.
They should come in here.
We'll get stuck with it.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, there's that the towns, they already said how I understand the need up there, but I don't think that they can afford what the rates would be to have that all
That's the
done.
problem. Get to Templeville in the area that those
Yeah.
people don't have the income source to pay their water bills.
So,
Their monthly income is gonna be greater than the bill.
yeah,
if you get in the agreement and then 4 or 5 years down the road, one of the jurisdictions says, we can't afford it anymore.
then we're stuck.
Unless there's something in the contract to protect us, but I don't know what that would be, but. I don't see what advantage it is for us to financially be responsible. And then if we wanted to borrow money somewhere else, we'd already have that money out there, so we'd probably get, loan at a higher interest rate because of the money we owe right there, so. We'll listen to what they gotta say.
But it's a different deal than Goldsboro, because
Yeah.
Goldsboro, the town owns system, we don't care how they get it. They owe us X number of dollars.
In fact,
These
we're
other
still
towns are
relying on other
unincorporated, so
people.
who would be held liable for that? That's the individual homeowner, so we would have to go after all these homeowners. So,
Yeah, and in addition, there are 2 mobile home parks that they're
Mhm.
trying to add into this project. And with that, it would be really difficult to collect, and
Mhm.
we'd have to do a charter amendment, because your charter right now doesn't allow you to extend outside of town to unincorporated municipalities. The only reason you could for Goldsboro was because they are incorporated. And part of that reason is because of that.
Well, when we went into the original loan, I wasn't on the board then, but, we did it because we needed improvement to our water and sewer treatment plant. So we had some skin in the game, if you will, that it was gonna be an advantage to us. But right now, that plan is going to, serve our needs for many, many years to come. So why would we engage and get into something like that that really is not gonna have a direct impact or, improvement for our community?
So, I mean, basically what it's gonna do, if we agree, but I hope we don't, it's gonna stop the growth of Greensboro. Like you just said, ball with the sewer allocations and everything else. If we extend it, it's.
Well, so the plan would be that if it worked out financially and they were able to obtain their own loans and the town wasn't financially on the hook to extend to these other entities, they would be allocated a certain amount of capacity, and that would have to, your plant would have to be upgraded for that capacity. So yours would remain the same. They wouldn't touch your available capacity, but it would add on to theirs and they would be capped as well. So with Goldsboro, they have a capped capacity and they can never exceed it.
But we would still end up being tasked with managing the plant,
Absolutely.
which is way, that creates a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean. Another negative on it is things that Brandon and them already deal with is everything that's floating down that at some time or another affects either their workload or flows, and I just that's a decision that you all can make if they come in here. Pinnamin Meadows, they have been. Pardon? Yeah, that's.
Got it.
They have been filing the building permit applications, just for anybody that is interested. Those applications will bring in $7,500 to the enterprise fund, which is the water sewer account. And $2,578 roughly for general funds for each application. They are still on target to close this month. And so, they said the only problem with shovels in the ground is the weather.
So just for clarification for the audiences here tonight, Baldwin paid the town for 125 EDUs, is that the right terminology, years ago?
In 2012, he paid approximately $420,000 to reserve 125 water sewer connections.
So this would be the cost for the first 125 houses. After that, they would have
It
to pay
goes
the
up.
full price.
After that, they have to pay the full, I believe it's about $13,000 for water and sewer, plus there
Plus
is.
fees.
Yes, plus these fees, because there's a nutrient reduction fee, which is in that agreement, and then, what's kind of an impact fee, but it was specifically negotiated for this agreement to cover any impacts on the town, police, roads, et cetera, from the development.
And that money has long been spent. So it's not sitting in the bank waiting.
No, but as as they come in for additional building permits, they will have to pay,
Yeah, I'm talking about the previous money.
yes, yeah, the 420.
All right, thank you, I'm sorry.
David, is that who the funding information is not yet available for the residents? Is that who we're talking about, the other people after the 120 houses in Baldwin? Is that what that's referring to, or is that, who is the they that you guys referred to in, whether or not numbers?
Sir, sorry, do you mind waiting until public comment? just so
No, that's
it's clear
fine.
on the
I
record?
just, while you were at it, I just thought he could explain pretty quick.
Absolutely, thank you, I appreciate that.
Sure.
David?
Let's see, community programs, busy with, doing the post-Whoville evaluations, the attendance, donations, positive, negatives. Amanda has started the initial planning and strategy for the car show and music fest. We have already secured the entertainment. She has sent invites out to, for the food trucks and has already gotten responses on that. We have possible partnerships, one with a radio station and can't remember the. But still, what is it? Cult Classic.
And the date for that's been set is August 30th?
August 30th. The format's gonna be a little bit different, but that's still in the works. And she's going to change up the, format for sponsorships because we're getting to the point now where we have decent size events, several of them, so it's kind of like we're hitting the same people repeatedly, and they did a bang up job for the car show, but then you turn around and you're hitting the people up again for Whoville or whatever, so we're gonna do a one-timer and send out requests for funding or for sponsorships, but it's gonna be a larger dollar amount and we'll cover every event, and then anybody that sponsors would have their company or whatever advertise at each of the events. Food pantry, there was an additional location added for food pickup, to help stock pantry. We've had some residents volunteer, that may allow for a little bit of, extra hours on Thursdays. And just for clarifications, when we were closed during the holidays, we have to follow Aaron's Place, because we are part of them, we're a satellite location, so unfortunately, when they're closed, we have to be. Let's see, Public Works, they completed the renovations, next door, they did a great job. And it was horrible timing for everything because they were working on Whoville renovations and everything else in between. They've had a water main repair here on Park Avenue just last week. There was a water line hit by a contractor that they had marked out. Brandon Brandon and crew worked on a heating issue for the food pantry and found that the ventilation was going directly into the basement, so. Yeah. Made a lot of sense. So there was that, and then they also found that the hot water heater was vented into the old chimney. I'm not sure, but all that's getting resolved, again, thanks to Public Works. Couple issues in Goldsboro, which I will add on that if, when we move north, that'll continue on with the north towns. Whoville cleanup. They have utilized the ARPA funds that were designated for mini splits. What else was there? Mini splits, toolboxes, tools. Side by side. And side by side, which has already come in handy. Snow removal,
Can we stop that, we go from that?
yes,
So were you able to find a container or storage? Because I know a lot of
Two.
stuff went into 113.
You showed us.
Two.
So now, one of the Connexes got delivered today, the other one will be tomorrow. We were able to secure 2 Connexes, actually cheaper than what one of the sheds out there.
That's great. I know that we've
Tell me
stored a lot of stuff.
what's a Conex is? Is that a tractor trailer bed?
It's a shipping container.
Yeah. I just know we stored a lot of stuff in 113.
yeah. Snow removal, one storm, Brandon, Lennox, Dave, and I were here in the middle of the night as that storm came in. That makes for a very long day, but we did it. But all of them, while I was in here warm, they were out doing snow, and I think they did a good job. So thank you.
I think Public Works did an exceptional job. I mean, all of our employees, I think, did a good job. You know, I was out there with them and I learned a lot. I've never been in a snowplow truck before and you hit a water hole cover, it wakes you up really quick. But, it's a lot of work and a lot of effort and I know they did the best they could with a lot of snow and it's hard to see where you're going, where the road is and where somebody's flower bed is and they were out there probably till 5 o'clock that next day, so. Thank you.
Let's see. We're gonna try to get reminders out a little, earlier when there is, heavy snow anticipated, so that people have a little advance notice for removing their vehicles from the streets and everything, so. I don't think there were a whole lot of issues, but, you know, there may have been more vehicles off the streets had residents got a little bit more notice.
I could interrupt real quick. So that's one of the questions that I have. So I guess if it's state of emergency, the residents have to move their vehicles off the streets, right?
Mhm.
Well, the only issue I see is if we wait to declare a state of emergency until it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, people are sleeping.
Mhm.
We as a town do not have to follow the county. We as a town can declare that, you can declare that whenever you think it's necessary to do, but if we declare it late at night like we did, there's no way that these residents are gonna get up out of their bed at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night to use their cars.
I agree with
Right.
what you're saying, and it's kind of like, you know, the fall delay, school, damn to do, damn to do, kind of thing, but I know that we sent out a lot of things on Facebook, the preceding day and that evening, please, the storm is coming, move your vehicles off the street so we can plow it. So there was ample enough warning, anybody didn't know the storm was coming, they was asleep. So ordinarily, I would agree with you, but in this particular case, there was ample time for people to.
And it's
I
not
think-
county, they can't move their vehicles in that one.
I think a lot of them don't have a place to put the car, I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, their driveway.
There were, several other things that they had, to assist with failure, at the Harold Street pump station because a bird got fried. Brandon and his crew worked with, Bill Bro to do a transfer switch for the generator that's going to be installed over here. I'm learning all sorts of things. Brandon was busy with a lot of meetings, meeting with, Amanda for strategy for community programs, the school for the basketball program and autism awareness, Bill Bro for the amphitheater and the generator, Sundance Home for the doors and the windows here. They came back and did a second measurement so that they can measure twice, something like that. So those are gonna be done. And then Brandon and I and Lennox and council have to work on an emergency plan or adjusting our emergency plan as needed. Chief has, well, he's gonna talk to you about the speed camera. He's had some very sensitive and disturbing cases. Sad some days. We have had 13 days in December coverage from the sheriff's department and 12 days coverage this month from the sheriff's department. And we'll show it again. Awesome.
So we're back to speed cameras, you said you want to go?
Yes, I did the SHA permit. It's been set up. Got a report back from the speed camera that once all that gets approved, then they'll start putting it in. I'm hoping, that they'll start doing some stuff in early March. But it's been a long going thing. I guess, anytime you work at the state, it doesn't happen overnight. So, it's one permit after another. So this was the final permit to get everything, going on the state road. So it is coming. It's just taking a little longer than I thought, but, I'm happy to see that it's coming along.
All right, thank you. Town attorney.
I don't have any updates this evening.
Oh, really?
I did want to add one thing, initial review of water sewer data. Based on what the numbers that I have pulled and some other adjustments that need to be, we may break even. My concern is still is that we are, there's no longer going to be ARPA funds to fall back on. So, we'll see how the rest of the year goes, but
You're saying right now, here's the break even. So,
that is
okay, so we don't need to take any action.
correct,
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully.
hopefully. Barring any,
Major.
unforeseen, yes.
I thank you. Comment, Mr. Martell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to just take a minute to thank you very much for your service cleaning the streets. Very good job. Talking about the notification of the state of emergency, I was notified. I got a text message and an email. I was not notified when it was lifted. No big deal. I wasn't going out on the road. You were also talking about the units, the new units in the development, 125, I think you had the funding for. How many do you expect over that? Because that sounds like you're gonna get some big money.
Yeah, so Tammy, what is the overall,
250, I think.
Pardon? That was, I think, 250 ballpark, but they've had some changes, but there's also gonna be mixed use, 2 assisted living, and I think 1 apartment complex.
Okay.
It'll be a long time before they complete the build out. So those numbers aren't hard fast because that was made 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of good news because you can expect a little bit of income.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that. I wasn't really gonna say anything because I know it's winter time and everybody's busy, but I gotta say something about these stop signs and the speeding. There's no improvement. It's bad. I do a lot of walking, ride the bike and when it's warm. I'm gonna say Wood Duck, Speedway, Academy, Main and Sunset. Really speed. I know you can't be monitoring this all the time. I would have to say, I don't.
no, sorry.
I would have to say, the best answer, at least on Wood Duck, is the speed bumps. gotta slow them down. The stop sign's useless, just slow them down. Loud mufflers, all that stuff. Walking around, lots of feral cats around here. Walking around the other night, I saw a whole bunch of stuff running. I didn't get my flashlight out in time, but I think they were raccoons. Raccoons can bring rabies. And I'm gonna recommend, anybody might wanna tell their children, there's some avian bird flu cases going around. It's been, seen in the,
Yeah.
snow geese population and in some of the broiler farms in this county. Do not touch any dead birds. Plowing snow, you want vehicles off the street. There are unregistered vehicles on these streets that haven't moved in months. You can walk right up Wood Duck and you can see two pickup trucks and a car with expired registrations
On the street?
on the street. Yep, I just was up there today and I'm not sure about, there was one, it was an out-of-state tag.
If you see one reported to Amanda,
Should I call them in? Okay. And I think that's all I have. Thank you.
we go to you first or to the chief on
We'll get it.
Don't forget everything.
I think, I guess you do the ones off the street. I'm sorry. All right, thanks, Paul. Chad Dean.
Good evening, everybody. Chad Dean, county historian, longtime member of the Greensboro Historical Society. This year I was elected to be its president. So I wanted to kind of formally introduce myself and hope that we can work together on a list of projects I have, and maybe some ideas and interests you have as well. I did send the town a 250th timeline. Caroline County celebrated its 250th anniversary in 2024. Now that year's over, the timeline is essentially done and ready for public dissemination. So, I don't know who it went to in town hall, but when you get around to it, take a look. There are a number of Greensboro entries on there. Anything you'd like to work on, be my guest. Let me know. Leave my contact info. If you would like to add a Greensboro Historical Society entry into your monthly town hall agenda, I'd be very excited to give you updates, talk about our events, research finds that we've made. Anything, just let me know. But in the meantime, who should I give my contact info to?
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Congratulations. Business. Water and sewer review, I guess we've already touched on, it, have we not?
Did you
Still
skip
on
over,
public comment.
Mr. Mason?
I don't have any other yeses on here. I'm not doing maybes
Well,
anymore.
you didn't tell me that. So
Would
for
you
now
like-
on, it'll always be a yes.
If you'd like to speak, please come on.
Thank you. I'll put a yes on it for now. I didn't know you weren't accepting maybe. Sorry. Right, timer. I will say that obviously this isn't your guys' fault, which I will say, but 125 EDUs, you call it, is 3,360 per unit for $420,000. So this builder saved $1.2 million if the average is $13,000 now. I mean, I'm not an expert, even though I manage government contracts every day, but you would think after so many years, you'd be able to go back and do a change order because of updated labor, materials and so forth. That's maybe something to look at, because I know if I agree to something and things change, materials, labor, things like that, that's called a change order, and you can definitely recoup money on that, so. But yeah, overall, $3,250,000, so guy did pretty good.
Right,
Thank you.
I'd like to speak to.
yeah, you're a major, come on up.
Hey, so last meeting I mentioned a YouTube channel. for the finance council meetings, and, Tammy assisted me with getting the videos, and the YouTube channel has been launched as of today with all the meetings back to January 2024. And I'll update them as we progress. So that's a thing. And then I put feelers out for the neighborhood watch, to see if there was any interest in that. Nobody really said too much about it, but I really didn't know what direction to take if they do. Would that be something that I would give a Lennox about?
Yes.
Okay, so if anybody does show interest, and then, I'm also this weekend going to be sorting through the water sewer information that Tammy also got to me, this week. So, we can kind of hash that out and see exactly where we stand between all of us.
We'll sit and go over it.
Yeah, group effort. I feel like there's something I'm missing here. I think that's it for now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. The YouTube. program.
Oh, the channel is TRG MD FCN. So it's Town of Greensboro, Maryland Finance Council meetings. That's what it stands.
TOGMD, and what was the last of it?
FCN.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, in fairness to all, Mr. Shaffer, you were amazing. Would you like to speak?
Yes, please. You're here. Thank you for all the wonderful plowing work. I appreciate your time. I just have one question and just a clarification on the town manager's report, lead line inventory section. I don't know how to refer to it. It's the third bullet point down, the second solid bullet. It says funding information is not available yet for residents. Can you tell us just a little detail of that? What residents, first of all?
Well, supposedly, the requirement is going to be for everything to be replaced that has anything to do with lead, which would include homes. From our conversations with DDF, we would be allowed to go onto your property with your permission to take care of from the hookup up to the house, which would eliminate some of your expense. However, anything inside your home would still be homeowner's responsibility, but they're telling us there should be some funding available, but it gives us quite a bit of time to work on it.
Who's responsible to find out what lead is involved in my house? I mean,
That's where we're not quite clear on yet, because this is all coming down from the EPA.
Okay, so I'm assuming that we'll get more
We will.
direction.
Yep,
Okay.
as soon as I think that I know something, I'll pass it along.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the report. It's wonderful. I would suggest that you number the letter so that people can reference
Oh, good idea.
3A.
Yep.
So without us having to look at just minor, but I do appreciate that you did the report. It makes it much easier. Thank you. Thank you for the line to be shut up.
That's okay.
Anybody else?
I just have one question. I was on the website. I'm sorry. One question. I was on the website today to make sure there was a meeting tonight, because I know we're down to once a month now, right?
There's a workshop on the first.
Yeah. It looked confusing. It looked like there were 2 town council meetings scheduled a month still on your website.
On the website, there are, because they have it canceled, both of them.
But there's just one a month. The third week, third
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
So we will cancel all the first,
Well, update,
They're
yeah.
scheduled a workshop.
We're scheduled to go.
Yeah.
but that's
So
still a
it's still a
meeting, so.
It's still a meeting, yes,
Yes.
but you should have in parentheses next to workshop.
But that's not public opinion or nothing,
No, it's just.
It
Public-
just still looks like there's 2 on there.
There are.
So
Two
these,
public.
Workshop.
they are.
We'll go here, so answer the question, there, lawyer, answer please.
So what they have decided is the meeting nights are the same night, but the first meeting of the month will be a workshop where they roundtable discuss items for the agenda or things that they want to change. And then the next meeting will be your typical public meeting where there's legislative and action items. So there are still 2 meetings a month, but one will be a work session and one will be a legislative action session, but they are all public and open to the public.
Actually,
Now,
Not true.
that wasn't what we discussed. We discussed that we're gonna have 1 meeting a month. And that if we need to hold a workshop,
Then you'll have
then we
another.
will have it.
So,
That would be posted then.
yeah,
Correct.
but I think Amanda's question is, how does the town office then post that? Do you want all of these first meetings erased and then as a workshop arises that is needed, add it to the
We approved the
calendar?
schedule last meeting. We approved the holiday schedule and we approved the.
You approved the budget
schedule,
workshop schedule
Which was the first Thursdays of the month.
for the workshop.
Yes.
But then it got changed, didn't it? Didn't you change it?
We did change the budget.
We did, David did. But we approved one at the last.
Amanda.
Right.
We'll talk.
Confusing.
So you may or may not have a work session at the first of each month, but you will always have your regular meeting at the second, third Thursday.
Yes.
But I can go in and add workshop to the first.
I mean, I think maybe perhaps this is just my personal opinion for the council, but I think that we should schedule to have a workshop on that first Thursday, and if we decide we don't need it, we can cancel it rather than decide we need it sometime and then put it on the thing. Which is easier, that seems to me to be easier, but I assume we would be having those workshops on the first Thursday of the month. It's just so we could discuss things and weren't obligated because we can't make any decision, but give us an opportunity to discuss things openly. But if we didn't need to have it, we could cancel. And be scheduled. Play back the tape, listen, doesn't matter either way. We can change your mind. So you want to, whatever you want to do tonight, let's please make up our mind.
Well, where I get confused, David, is on the December 19th, 2024, we passed this proposed FY 26 budget workshop schedule. And that's how I adjusted my work schedule, because that's what I got in writing. So I went through and adjusted my work schedule to be at these meetings, and then I get an email telling me that we're gonna have these, and it's every Thursday in February and stuff, and I can't make all of those. I went on the meeting one that we approved with the holiday schedule, and I guess, I jumped the gun, I guess. I shouldn't have scheduled stuff ahead of time. But I went by what was presented at the last meeting.
Well, you did, and I had a conversation with Tammy following that on later on. And the schedule that we were given was not the one she intended to give us, what I was told. And my second concern was that I didn't want to put ourselves in a position that we had a public hearing and that the public gave us their input, and we wanted to be able to have time, if we wanted to consider making changes, to be able to do that without running out of time at the end of the year having the meeting. So that's why I pushed her to back up the public hearing until the April meeting, so that we could have the public hearing, and if we need to make changes and vote on it in May rather than wait. Because if you wait till the June meeting, which is the third Thursday, we wouldn't have time to legally put the budget in place, because we don't have the 21 days necessary. Am I not correct?
So the April 21st meeting on the schedule we approved at the last meeting says publish public hearing for FY 26 budget. We have the public hearing May 15th and we adopt the budget. And those numbers work, correct? I'm confused because with the schedule you proposed that I got later on, I can't make all the meetings.
Yeah, because I saw February, we have one every month, every Thursday.
Every Thursday, and I can't do it. My work schedule won't allow that.
No.
So, I mean, I'll attend the ones I
I mean, if
can.
we have a problem, we have to have a special plan, a workshop to go over. But
I just based it on what was.
So what are the differences from what you approved, what you voted on?
I'd have to pull David's up, but I know it had every meeting, every Thursday in February, we had some scheduled meetings. And right now it shows February 13th, that's the third budget workshop.
The one that I have here says that, we'd have a workshop on January 23rd, budget workshop on the 23rd, workshop on February the 6th, the 13th, and council meeting on the 20th, the 27th would be a workshop. March the 6th would be a workshop, and the 13th would be workshop if needed. And then advertise on March 24th, have the public hearing of the budget on the 17th.
There's gonna be a lot of them days, I'm trying to be able to make it.
So, but we certainly need to have as many of the council here as we can when we have these workshops, so. What time do we need to be able to let the public know when they're having it? How much leave time do we need to advertise?
After the public hearing or just your regular? meeting?
Workshop, workshop.
I mean, the more the better. I mean, I think as soon as you know,
Yeah, I was
give
under,
at least a week and,
I
or
was under
not
the
more.
impression that when the schedule was given to us when we approved it at the last meeting, that they could just put this schedule on the social media page and it would have them all.
Yeah,
I mean, if-
I would, I mean, and that's what was voted on, so I think that's what the schedule is. And I don't know if the other schedule that was proposed was just for conversation purposes or if that was a change, but you all voted on that one.
Yeah.
All right, well then, the one that you voted on was the one we did. Simple.
It works out.
It worked, yeah, I mean, we can make the numbers, I mean, that's why it was proposed, but we got it at the last meeting, and then after I made arrangements and started working it and scheduled it.
That's fine, just make sure that the one that you have, they get the right one, so we can post the right one. We don't get confused.
Yeah, and I mean, if something arises, like you have a workshop and you feel that something needs to be hashed out before the next meeting you have scheduled there, you can schedule additional. You know, because they are special meetings and not on regular meeting dates, you want to give as much notice as possible.
Right.
You're not prevented from doing so.
Okay, you all good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, new business. Anything on the new business? Town council remarks.
I was just like to say, if they get all the residents to work hard to get those sidewalks cleaned off and areas cleaned off and the trash cans back in. That's a big help. Thank you, Public Works, for all you did, and for coming in early. And that's it for me.
I don't have anything.
I just want to say thank you, Brandon, you guys, Kenny, all you guys. And with the trash, it was great that they put out a notice to say they were gonna leave one more day and give people notice, so at least give time to get the streets clean, you know, so that was really nice. And Amanda, I think we're all know your father-in-law wasn't passed away?
Yeah.
So we're sorry to hear that, sorry to hear that. Pete?
I'll stay on the same wavelength. I work through the snow emergency that you guys see. The communication, all the work was pretty straightforward. Everybody did a great job. The citizens did a great job helping their neighbors clear from us. All in all, I think a small number about it, but took care of everybody. Everybody survived. It's a shame that we fall under Aaron's place and we couldn't get the pantry open, but we got to play by the rules we play by. So another entity may be able to do something a little different in the future. And I want to thank Miss Ernest for the YouTube thing, and Mr. Chandler, who comes to the meetings, was actually after the last meeting expressing an interest in helping get that started, so I don't know who you used to do it, but thank you.
Sure, I did it myself. It's all, everything's on there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Sure.
All right, so I will look for a motion to adjourn the regular meeting and go into closed session to discuss personnel issues.
Motion to adjourn the regular meeting and go into closed session at the time.
I'll second it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The birds. I thank you all for coming. Personally. And it's pretty good like that. Well,